Hello and welcome to the Razor's Edge. This is Hutch, and tonight I've had the privilege to chat with Chloe Drinkwater, lead singer of UK modern metal band Skarlett Riot, whose third album Invicta is released on the 7th of May. It's Paul here from the Razor's Edge. Nice to speak to you.
And you?
Good. How are you doing? Busy day?
Yeah, quite busy. Yeah, had a fair few interviews lined up as well.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to actually releasing the album on Friday.
Brilliant. Great. Well, thanks for spending some time with us. Appreciate it. It's always busy when you get close to release day, so really good to have a chat with you anyway.
That's no problem at all.
Brilliant. So, as you said, close to the big day, so 2 days to go. Where do you sit in terms of the range of emotions when an album is due to be released?
A mixture, really. We get super excited, but also really nervous as well, because obviously we've kind of been sat on it for about 2 years now. So, we know we absolutely love it, but we want to know what the fans think as well. You know, of course, that's important to us, and we just hope, all the hard work that's gone into it, that it takes off and everybody absolutely loves it. And so I tend to sit on release day, and I'll be keeping an eye and monitoring and chatting to people. So we're really excited more than anything.
Brilliant. And it's obviously been a while since the last album, Regenerate, was released. And in between that, obviously, we've had some very strange times in the build-up to this album. Is it different in terms, do you feel it's different, the build-up to Invicta, in comparison to the last album, the kind of emotion and everything that's around at the moment?
A little bit. I mean, it's similar in the way of actually building up the press for it to come out. Obviously, weird times with the pandemic have been able to actually look at touring off the back of the album at the moment and in support of it. But the actual build-up of the press coming out is a similar scenario, because a lot of it is online and Zoom calls and radio calls and things. So it's similar in that way. But for me, it's a little bit more exciting as well, because we've been through a lockdown and we've not been able to do anything. It's just nice to actually be able to give something. If we can't tour or anything, rather than just stand still, it's nice to still release this music and give people something to look forward to, because it's definitely been a strange time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pleased that you're coming through on the other side like we all are now. So it's some light at long last. I read that you were I think you were actually virtually thrown out of the studio as you started to record. Is that right?
Yeah, we'd started writing the album late 2019, and we just got ready to go back in and record the album March 2020, and we got in, and it was literally the evening that we stepped foot in the studio was when Boris's announcement come on and said, we're locking down midnight tonight, no one goes out. So we'd spent ages writing the album and preparing to not be able to finish the recording, so we ended up going back in August when things started to open slightly, but we could only go in individually, so we couldn't go in together. So we all had to kind of record our parts separate to each other and then disappear, which was really, really weird.
Yeah, I'm assuming that you normally are all together when you're doing your recording, which gives you that kind of buzz and bounce off each other, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. We kind of use it as like a little few weeks or a month's vacation. We'll stay with each other and, either just hang out, write some music, watch some Netflix and, play Xbox, and just a bit of band bonding time, really, more than anything. And we couldn't do that this time around.
Sure. So I know that the album isn't out until Friday, but obviously, as in any kind of release cycle, some people get it a little bit earlier than others, and I've heard it, and I think it's a fabulous album. I think it's really, really enjoyable, and I'm sure that you're going to get great reviews for it. But What kind of early reviews have you had? How have they been so far, the ones you've seen?
Yeah, it's all been super positive, which is great. They've only just really started rolling in. We've had like Power Play magazine and Metal Hammer and Distorted Sound and Hard Rock Hell mag. So those ones that we've got, they've all been really, really good positive reviews. So I suppose that's good in a way, because it gives us like a insight into like what other people are thinking of it. It just gives you a little bit of a taster of how other people are taking the album so far.
Sure. Obviously, you're a band who embrace the social media, and obviously a lot of you are also a generation that are fully interactive. And I know that you've done a couple of videos for some of the early releases during the usual kind of drip feed into it. How engaged are you as a band in terms of the social media platforms? Do you get involved with it all? Is it all your own work?
Yeah, it's just us that run them. I spend a lot of time on there personally. I'll update them every few days, and I'll make sure that I'm replying to messages and comments and everything, and just keeping everything active. And it was quite important, I think, through lockdown as well. Like, even though it was hard to find things to post in a way for a year's worth of content when you're not doing anything, but just to be able to interact with people and just say, we're still here and we hope you guys are keeping well and keeping sane, and just talking to people. It's nice to do that, and we like to build a personal connection with our fans as well. So when they come to gigs and things, I'll remember talking to them online, and it's all part of it, I think.
Yeah, sure. There's only so many Spotify playlists you can publish, aren't there?
Exactly.
So the album itself, I would say that it's got a bigger, slightly beefier sound, which is no mean task, because Regenerate was no quiet album for any means. You've retained your melody, but you've added your vocals have added a slightly harsher edge at times, I think. Anyway, I mean, I may be completely wrong, but how did you as a band decide on the direction of travel musically? Were you determined that you would put a bit of a harder edge on it compared to the previous one? How was the discussion around where you went with that?
To be honest, it was quite a natural progression. We never tend to like sit there and decide where we're going to go next with the release, if you know what I mean. We just tend to write music, and if we like the songs, they go on. So there was no kind of anything done on purpose for the next release, but we just knew that we wanted it to be bigger and better than Regenerate, and we try and step up with every release. And we don't feel there's any point in releasing an album unless we feel it was better than the one that we'd done before. And I do feel like Regenerate, it was a step in the right direction for us, and it did really well. So I suppose setting that boundary of making sure that this next release is better, it's hard to keep doing that. But I just think the additional like growls and dynamics of Invicta just makes it that little bit more interesting and more unpredictable.
Sure, and you've touched on the growls, which is one of the things that a lot of bands use these days, and obviously that style is more evident on the album. I'm assuming from the videos that Tim is the growler.
Yeah, that's right. He does a lot of the growls. I've done a few as well on the album.
Sure.
But yeah, he's the more predominant growler.
You can call him the growler from now on. I'll let you have that.
That's it, yeah.
But obviously your vocals are, with all due respect to the guys, your vocals are one of the key parts of Skarlett Riot. It's that distinctive voice. Like any band, the vocalist is key to it. How did you judge the balance on the vocals so that you didn't kind of over dominate it with growls? Because for me, the good thing about Invicta is that whilst the growls are there, they're not on every song, and they're not overplayed a lot, if you like.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. And that's one thing that we didn't want to do. Like, I've never really had a massive interest in putting screams in there, especially as, it's so popular at the moment. We don't like to just sit and follow what other people do, but it was more of a natural thing because I've been singing for so many years. I wanted to learn like a new technique and just something different to focus on, especially through the lockdown, and just learn something new for myself. So, I just decided to start learning it a little bit, and then I thought, I'm going to add a few in just for texture. But and that's really all I wanted to do with it, is texture what we got. So when the heavy sections come in, they are heavy, and it just adds that extra dynamic there, and just a different sound, as opposed to the normal singing voice. So I just wanted to make sure that they were used as textures, and it wasn't just used to put it there because you can, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's a really clear answer, and I think that comes across in the album. Standard question here: who are the key influences on you as a singer for not just in metal but as a singer in general?
I've got a few really. Like when I first started singing, for me it was Avril Lavigne. I absolutely loved Avril Lavigne. She got me into wanting to pick up a guitar and actually sing in the first place. So um, yeah, definitely her, and Heart as well. If we're going back to 80s bands. Um,
They're a 70s band, man.
yeah, 70s. um,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, Evanescence and In This Moment and Lacuna Coil. So
yeah.
yeah, all sorts really. But I do love pop music as well. So even Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. So just all sorts.
Great, cool. So obviously, I've just shown my age already by identifying that Heart are a 70s band, and obviously, I was brought up late 70s, early 80s is my kind of era when I was a teenager. And I often get a bit bemused when all the metal bands have all these different labels put on them. So there's so many different types of label that a band wear. And I've read in a lot of things about you, Scarlett Riot, being described as modern metal. So what does modern metal mean for you? Describe it to an old man who doesn't really understand.
Yeah, we tend to describe ourselves as like rock infused with the modern metal. So the bands such as Bullet for My Valentine and Trivium, I would probably say are
Yeah,
modern metal. So
yeah, yeah.
it's kind of metal of today, I suppose. That's in a metal fashion,
Mhm.
I suppose. And but yeah, I'd say we try. We're not heavy to the point of where it loses the hooks and the catchiness, and that's what I wanted. I wanted us to still be heavy, but have those choruses that people can sing along to, so it doesn't lose any of the melody that Scarlett Riot are known for.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, brilliant. So coming on to another label, which is something a bit, maybe a little bit more controversial. I'm not a huge fan of the term female fronted in terms of describing a band that just happens to have a woman in it. But I know that other people, and certainly some women, aren't particularly bothered on it. Do you have a view about that term and the whole movement around women in metal as a? I'll come on to another question in a second.
No, not at all. Like, I just think male or female. For me, if I like music, it's because I like the song and it moves me, whether it's female fronted or male fronted. I suppose the only thing is you don't walk around going, "I love this male fronted band,"
Yeah,
and it sounds weird. And obviously, people will point out that there's female fronted bands, and I think it's become more of a trend than anything, because like bills get put together of a female fronted bill and a female
yeah,
fronted tour and female fronted festivals. And but I have nothing against it. I mean, at the end of the day, women in metal, there's some really good women in metal, and they're all representing females, and I'm proud to be a female in metal. So yeah, it doesn't bother me at all, and I haven't had any like sexist comments towards me in particular, so I've been quite lucky with that throughout. the band. So I haven't had any bad experiences of feeling like belittled because I'm a female.
That's really interesting, because my next question was, I spoke to Serena Cherry of Svalbard last month, and she'd come out last year with an interview on, I think it was the Damnation podcast, where she'd revealed quite a lot of really bad behaviour that she'd experienced. So obviously you play a guitar as well, so you kind of parallel, she's a front woman with a guitar as well. And she was talking about things like the inevitable mansplaining when she turned up at a gig and was told where to plug a guitar in and all the rest of it. So it sounds like you've kind of skirted around all of that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't played my guitar in quite a few years now. I've decided to just concentrate on the vocals, so I don't tend to play it live anymore. I suppose in a way, if you play guitar as well as sing and you're female, maybe you'll get a little bit more of that being a female guitarist that maybe people think that you can't play. But I mean, there's some awesome female guitarists out there at the minute as well, who hold their own. So I know everyone has their own experiences, and I read a lot online from different bands where they've had these horrible experiences. But I am quite lucky that I have been treated quite equally to everybody else.
I'm really glad to hear that, because hopefully that means, as much as anything else, that the actual attitude within the crowd and everything is changing. We want.
Yeah, I hope so.
Great. I won't labour the point. I want to touch on a couple of other things. So the song Human touches on the need to retain humanity and individuality. And I've been loath in recent interviews to keep banging on about the pandemic, given that we're hopefully nearly out of it, because obviously at the start of it, I was talking to every interview I did, it was like, how are you coping, blah, blah, blah. But obviously that song kind of links into people and how they've managed over the last 15 months or so. How have you and the band actually kept your health balanced physically and mentally during the lockdown and stuff? Because obviously you've not been able to see each other, and probably like everyone else, you've missed family and everything else. So how have you managed?
I mean, it's definitely been challenging because, like you say, we haven't been able to see each other. We haven't been able to gig or tour, which is what we really wanted to do. But I suppose if you look at it from a positive, we've been quite lucky in a way that we have been busy with this album. So it's been a year of preparation. So obviously we couldn't record in March, but in between March and August going back, we were finalizing like pre-production. So where we wanted violins and pianos and how we wanted sections to end in the song. So then we went back and recorded. And then it was kind of getting all the artwork ready and the press and discussions of singles. And obviously then we started releasing singles from the album. So even though we haven't been able to tour or see each other, we've been quite busy behind the scenes with all that sort of thing and releasing new merchandise. So I mean, we much prefer to be on the road and in the rehearsal studio with each other. But I have said to the guys, I think in a way we've been quite lucky that we've had that to concentrate on, because a lot of bands didn't get to record and hadn't got a release in place, or maybe they'd delayed their release. So then you've kind of got that whole year twiddling your thumbs, not knowing what's going on or what to do with yourself. So I think we've been quite preoccupied with just getting this album ready.
Yeah, sure. So what are the actual plans for Friday? Have you got anything big planned online or anything?
We're going to have like a little streaming party hangout. So we're going to go live at 8:00 on our Facebook, and we're all going to go on one Zoom link, all four of us together, and stream the album in whole and just talk like to each other and about the songs and let people tune in live on Facebook. So we're going to do that. I mean, it's not something that we've done before, but I just think because we can't tour or anything, and I think it deserves a good release party, and we'll have a couple of drinks and just a general live hangout. So I think it'll be good fun.
It should be a good laugh there. I might try and drop in if I've got time.
Yeah, do it.
So obviously gigs are a bit of they're rarer than hen's teeth at the moment, but And one of the things that caught my eye was on the bill to play at Call of the Wild.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously that one's been rearranged once or twice now, so
Yeah.
It'll be nice to actually make it happen and get back on the stage, and that'll be one of our first shows back at it as well. So yeah, it'll be a nice warm up for us and be able to play a few of the album songs as well on there and catch up with a few familiar faces.
And do you have? I'm ashamed to say I haven't done full research. Have you got other gigs lined up tentatively at the moment?
We're currently in the process
to see what happens.
Yeah, we're currently in the process of like penciling things in. Really, we are kind of holding off on going out of the UK at the moment just to see what is going on. You know, not just with the pandemic, but with Brexit as well. So
yeah.
I would say this year we will do something in the UK. We're just coming up with ideas and finalising them at the moment.
Sure. So you talked about playing a few of the songs from Invicta Live. Could you give me a couple that you think are shoe-ins for the set list? They're always going to be the ones that you want.
Yeah, that's difficult because I know that all four of us are going to want different ones because we've all got different favourites. Because I really think this album's like all killer, no filler. But I would probably say the ones most likely to go in will be the singles. So it'd be nice because Human was the first single we released, and that was like late 2019 or early 2020 that come out. So it'd be nice to actually finally play that one live. So I will go for that one definitely because it's been out the longest. And maybe just one like Black Cloud, which is on the album as well, which is one of my favourite ones.
Sure. Great. So in other questions then, new music. Obviously, I know that you guys all have a wide variety of tastes. Is there anything that is particularly caught your ear this year in 2021 from the new releases that you've had on repeat or anything?
For me personally, I've really liked the brand new Architects album, which came out in February. I think that was absolutely awesome. But yeah, as for new albums, I apart from the Architects one this year, I haven't really kind of come across many that have come out and really caught my attention. I know there's a lot of people going on about this new Gajira album, so I'm actually looking forward to hearing that because there's a lot of hype around it and I've not heard it yet.
Right.
Also I'm digging the Sumo Psycho singles as well. I know they have an album coming out on the same day as us on Friday.
Yeah, and I've got a mate who is an obsessive fan with them, so he's been bending my ear about that. So, okay, final question before I wish you all the best, which you don't need because the album's brilliant. But give me 3 things of interest about Scunthorpe.
Oh, that's difficult. It's such a small town. I mean, we have a steel industry. If that's of interest to people, that's probably the thing that it's known for. It's steel industry.
Yeah.
What else?
Skarlett Riot, surely.
Skarlett Riot, of course. Yeah, that's that's one. Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of pubs.
Yeah, that sounds ideal. I've only ever been to Scunthorpe once, and that was a long time ago to watch Cardiff City play at Glanford Park, I think it was.
Right.
It was a long time ago. Anyway, that was probably the meanest question of the lot. So apologies for that.
No, that's fine.
Chloe, it's been great chatting to you, and I genuinely say that the album is a real catchy album. I wish you all the best for Friday. If I'm around, I'll try and pop on the Zoom and have a look on the Facebook page. But just to finally do a little plug for Skarlett Riot. Where can people find you? Where can they pick all the stuff up? Tell me all your links and stuff.
Okay, so you can find Skarlett Riot on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And the Instagram and Twitter is at Skarlett Riot, and the Facebook is facebook.com/Skarlett Riot UK. And our brand new album Invicta is out on May the 7th, and you'll be able to get that from Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and it's on hmv.com and emp.co.uk as well.
So for the old school, you can actually pick up a proper copy.
Nice shiny physicals are out there too.
Brilliant. Chloe, it's been a pleasure. I wish you all the best, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Take care. Good luck.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.